You gonna have any fights this week? Oh man, we gotta have some fights.
Music. There it goes.
It was playing.
All right. Welcome to the Friday edition of the Cage Match, the episode where we break down our next opponent and anything else that has happened in the news before the game on Sunday. I am the Commander Savage. With me always is Mr. Jim Otto himself, Cal Ripken Jr. himself. Asylum, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I wish I could say it's a Friday, but I'm working this fucking weekend like goddamn usual. I don't know what a day off is. So, here I am. Style.
Well, we want to say happy McDaniel's Fire Day, November 1st.
That was yesterday.
Oh, well, whatever, okay? Happy yesterday, Halloween, McDaniel-ween, I don't know, trick or treat, he was tricked.
No, I don't know. I guess it would be today because it was after midnight, wasn't it, on Halloween?
Yeah, you know, it was like...
I guess you're right. You're right. It's Happy McDaniel's being fired day.
Yeah, so, happy McFire...
I'm going to get to that right there.
Happy McFire Day. Even though the results for this year has not been what we thought it would be, but...
No, I'm going to say thought. I'm going to say hoped. Because you know what? This is the kind of shit that happens when you change head coaches.
Yeah.
This is what happens. We talked about it last week. We did not play a bad game against the Chiefs. We beat ourselves. One drive, one play, and that game would be a completely different thing. We shot ourselves in the foot, and now I want to say we are starting. The team is just like it did last year after McDaniels got fired. The team is starting to come together, and I'm starting to expect a different team every fucking Sunday.
Yeah, and the only thing that seems to be our issue is on the offensive side of the ball. If we can just score a couple more touchdowns, the records will be. We switched our quarterbacks a couple years ago, and now hopefully we haven't started that carousel.
It's a bad juju of firing cars, is what you're saying.
I'm saying is yes.
But it goes back to what we talked about Wednesday, right? The continuity. We've had problems at quarterback. We've had problems at coaches. We've had problems with offensive coordinators.
Yes.
We got
We got Hollywood. Hollywood, what's up, Hollywood Raider? How you doing? I ran into him at the Pittsburgh game. I was trying to go into the parking lot. I saw him across the street, and I'm trying to yell, Hollywood! But it was so much people and everything. I saw him eventually when he came to the tailgate, but I was trying to get his attention from across the street. Shouts out to Hollywood. I know. That was our kickoff to this game.
I haven't been at tailgates.
Yeah.
That's why we keep losing. See, I went to a tailgate last year, and we won that game.
In Kansas City.
In Kansas City, right? That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
I'm the missing link. I need to be going to these games. Then we can be winning them.
It cancels out somebody else.
Hopefully, everybody be willing to come help and go and pay for me to be able to help pay for me to go to games. Sorry, continue.
Asylum is putting up his
GoFundMe.
It's GoFundMe. www.gosendmetoagame.com. But before we start, we want to say thank you to everybody for the subscribers, and we hit a milestone. So we have a little video to say thank you, and here it is right here.
Ready, down, put.
The fastest 100 yards.
We are proud of that, you know.
Yes.
I know it's a small number compared to some of these shows out there, but you know what? We're slowly and steadily getting out there, getting in that algorithm. People are starting to see us. And, you know, just like Tecmo Bowl, you can't pick the damn Raiders if you're going to play the game with a friend. Just watch out for the cage match. Everyone's going to say, watch out. You can't watch them. They're just too goddamn good.
The fastest 100 subscribers. In the last, we got like half of that in the last week alone. So I guess that was your 50+ yard run right there.
I mean, we did that in what, like a couple of months.
Yeah. So we had 100 beginning of the season, and then we shot up to 200, and we're just about to hit the bye week. So maybe by the end of the season, we'll be at 400. What?
Hey, maybe. Hey, I want to take every single last one of the 201 because we had one come up right before the show.
That was the extra point.
Subscribers.
That was the extra point. That was the extra point.
That was the extra point. I'm telling you, I want to thank every single last one of them, and I hope we're doing everybody proud and continue this streak of constantly moving up.
Yep. Shouts out to my sister Elise, who was in the chats, and right there, KDO, who has a he made the intro music to the show, and then the music that was just playing when we came on, that was both KDO's music that he had produced, and he gave it for us to the show. So I'm gonna shout out Arcadio. What is up, Arcadio? I was like, what was that?
That music right there. Thank you.
Yes. I was like, what happened in my ear? Okay. So with that said, before we go into the show, let's go do our favorite. Oh my God, our favorite segment.
Hey, you got it right. Hey, you're on a roll. You're getting it right lately.
I know. I'm. It's weird. Like I got it. Okay, here we go. And then I go and say favorite. Okay. Our favorite. Oh no! Wait. When. Right there, my girlfriend. Right there. Hold on. Where's the button? Yeah. All right.
Man, look at that. You're even getting the buttons down. Look at you go. You're on a roll.
Win 1 million subs by the end of the season. Yeah. Let's go.
I like the damn energy you're giving right there. I know you're a Niners fan, but I love you anyways. I bet you still regret that trade in fantasy.
A long time ago, I used to host a football in the morning, and I would have not Sunday ticket, but Red Zone playing, and Arcadia would come over. He was a regular in Little CM. He had his own season tickets, and he used to be all like, "Oh yeah, let's go forever football." So forever football.
Forever football. There you go.
It's not called Red Zone. It's forever football. All right, now, okay, we're getting off track. Here we go. Our favorite subject, sex. Dang it, I lost it. Our favorite whatever segment. Shameless plug. Here we go.
All right, everybody, go to the YouTube channel, the Cage Match Show. Like, share, subscribe, give the thumbs up. All those help keep us in the algorithm and keep us out there. And while you're at it, go ahead and hit that bell. That way you know every time a video, short, whatever we put out comes out, you get to see it and watch it. If Roger Goodell decides he wants to be an asshole because he likes fucking with the Raiders, there you go, Puppy Master. You can catch us on Facebook at Oakland Raiders Savage or Asylum's page.
Hey.
When you're done with all this, go visit WGG. And Alicia, we need to get you on for the damn, tell us how good this W is. Because, we can say it all we want, but getting somebody else out there, people will realize it and order it themselves. When you're done with your order, put Cage Match, one word, in the discount code to get 10% off your whole order.
And like we always say, when you think of wins, you think of dubs. And when you think of dubs, think of w.gg. Go there, get the whole order, like Asylum said, 10% off your order when you put into the discount code Cage Match, one word, CAGEMATCH. And also shouts out to the Copa Fabian. Fabian, he has made our merch. We had koozies, or we still have. We have koozies. We have lanyards. We have the shot glasses. The shot glasses my girlfriend got. So we have all that. And he did it real quick for me for the last event that I went to. So he was real quick and getting all that out for me because I called him last minute, and so I want to give him shouts out. So go there, check out.
He did a hell of a job.
I know he only had like 1 week, and he made I think 100 of them. So that was real quick. So I always want to shout him out. Like I always say, I only wear hats. Right here, see that? For the man himself, he made this.
I have that fucking hat, and I gotta fucking find it because I miss it.
And also, www.rn4lifer.com, RaiderNationForLifer.com. That is the easy way to remember his website. And also, RaiderMan19.com, the Raiderman from Richmond podcast has to come up soon. He's a very busy man, and we're going to get him on the show real soon because we miss him on the show. But I can say he's a very busy man, but shout him out because he is the one that does the oath at the end of the intro. And speaking of that oath, the Raider oath, we want to try to get him to the torch.
We need to get him to the torch.
Yes.
If the Raiders would listen to us about their play and listen to us about getting him to the torch, the energy in that stadium, I don't care how many other teams' fans are there. You get him doing the oath before the game, you'd forget that there's other fans in the stadium.
Yes, because that Oakland mystique needs to be brought back, even though they're in Vegas. And the only man who can do that is Raiderman himself. Oh, yeah, let's get him over there to the torch. Oh, yeah. So, Asylum. We got one game before the bye week. And not only is it the bye week coming up after this game, and be real quick. Oh, wait.
I just responded to that. No, she does the Wednesday show and the Wednesday show only, and Tuesdays with Captain Jack. She does Tuesdays first every 2 weeks with Captain Jack, and then she graces our show on Wednesday. She's a very busy woman, and we thank her for any amount of time that she's willing to come on our show because she makes the show every 2 weeks. Everyone comes to see Miss Peggy and see what she has to say.
Yeah.
And get punched in the mouth if you don't agree with her every other Wednesday.
I know. I was all like, you know what? I think you're right.
I felt different, but you know what? I feel the same way you do now.
I'm scared. Look at. Yeah, the original. I think I'm trying to get certain shirts made for that. I got some people, but that's all I'm gonna say. But anyways, yeah, haters. They're haters everywhere, and even the aluminum foil hats can't protect me from those haters because they're always watching.
Hey, the aluminum foil hats are to protect us from Roger Goodell.
Roger Goodell himself, because he taps into the wavelengths, right? Whatever.
I swear to God, he knows when we're on, and Wednesdays and Fridays. I swear to God, he's on here watching it, just waiting for us to say or show something, just to be able to try to turn it off. He's got that button ready. He hovers over the mouse and he clicks it.
Yep, that's what he does. So, but stop shouting him out. We gotta stop shouting him out because that gives him free publicity. He's probably gonna like, yeah, see.
What free publicity? Everyone fucking hates Roger Goodell. This motherfucker comes out in the draft and gets booed and comes out with a smile on his face.
Exactly. He knows. And if we were talking, it's like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, my name's in your mouth. See, we gotta. That's why Asylum's all like, RG. Now, Asylum. Okay. We have one game before the bye week. Kind of funny how it's like perfectly right in the middle, and we're going through all this stuff: injuries, people on IR, questionable play calling, questionable quarterback play, questionable coaching decisions, and now we get a break right in the middle, basically like a halftime in the season, because it's like right in the middle of the season.
Which is rare, because usually we get an early bye. We usually got a bye in week 5, 6, 7, when it's the worst timing whatsoever. And this time we're getting a bye in the most opportune time of the season to be able to, like you said, get healthy, make changes, sit there and, get some rest and get your head right, shake it off and everything, just like we know Michael Myers is having some personal issues. And he's eligible to come back after the bye.
Yeah. And you know what? I was going to say, I believe all of us, even the fans, need a break from everything that's been going on the first 7.
If we win this game, do we really need the break, or do we need that momentum? Because you know what? The Raiders are notorious for coming out of the bye and being sluggish that first game.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of times, too, I mean, not in this. Well, never mind. I was going to say something, but I'm getting mixed up with something else. Never mind. Scratch what I just said.
Shake your head.
All right.
That's a sketch.
See, I need a bye week. Because all this news and everything that has happened just in the first 8 weeks alone, with the Davante Adams trade. Well, actually, with the Kuntz in the beginning of the season being injured, and then the Davante Adams trade, and then just other players being injured. I mean, just look at this list right here. There it goes. Just look at this list right here. All these guys. This is just the first. This usually happens like at the end of the season. Okay, you got these guys that got hurt. This happened almost one game after another.
Well, hold on. And one of those started before the season even happened.
Exactly.
Days before the season happened.
And that's Malcolm Kuntz, which they were like hoping that, well, maybe it'll be just a few weeks, put him on the 4-game IR, but then they realized that no, it's going to require him to miss the whole season, which he was in a contract year. So right then and there, that's our other edge rusher, opposite of Max Crosby, that was establishing himself. He goes. So and then our big one of our big acquisitions over the offseason, Christian Wilkins, he goes out, I believe, after the Browns game, I believe it was. So
yes, I believe you're right.
So it's just been a lot, and then we get Aiden O'Connell in, and it seems like the offense was starting to find its way, and then he breaks his thumb against the Rams. So we're just going through a lot, and then of course the Davante Adams trade and making it all about himself, and his team was trying to get right after win against the Browns, and all of a sudden I want to go. I want to go.
I like to be traded. I don't want to play here no more. I want to take my ball and leave.
Yeah, like I'm not having fun anymore.
And I do have one question: how well is he doing with the Jets?
Well, apparently he had a touchdown and almost 100 yards yesterday, and they beat
Hold on.
the.
That touchdown came after he missed 3 drives under concussion protocol.
I didn't watch the game. I just saw the final. I didn't watch the game. I didn't want to. It was Halloween, and even though we didn't go trick or treating because my stepson didn't want to, like, okay, we can stay home. We watched the movie. I'm not gonna bother myself following the Jets just to say ha ha to Devontae. I saw the first 2 games. You suck. You're going downhill. People are gonna be like, well, man, no, you quit on the Raiders. That means I quit on you. I'm not going to follow you. I'm not.
Hey, I'll take the 3rd round. Fuck it. It is what it is. You know what? Raiders are great, in the later rounds. And the way I look at it is we got 2 3rd-round picks. And with the way Telesco went through the first 3 rounds, that's 4 picks right there. He can hit home runs.
Yeah, and then with all this money that we got, that we saved, sending out Devontae Adams, I mean, we are in good shape for this coming off season to find, some big acquisitions to build on this team.
Some offensive linemen, maybe.
Offensive linemen, yeah. I don't think we really need a star receiver because Jacoby Myers. Yeah,
we got Bowers. You got Trey Tucker. You got DJ Turner, who's all of a sudden showing up. I mean, the receiver room with losing Devontae is still looking good.
Yeah.
So I think we can focus on O-line, which has been a big question mark right now. Get some good talent there. We hit the big splash this year, getting on the defensive line, getting Christian Wilkerson. If Wilkins. We get to Wilkins, I'm sorry, you're right. Wilkins. We got too many Christians.
Yeah, we got Wilkins and Wilkerson.
Yeah, Wilkins, my bad. Sorry. Anyways, with Wilkins, if we're able to keep Kuntz and re-sign Spillane, I think the defense is okay. Let's go ahead and focus on that offensive line with some of that money. Bring in a big splash on that offensive line. Continue in the draft because we hit 2 big guys in the draft. I'm sorry. I know they're rookies and making
rookie mistakes. Yeah.
I think that's a start of some solidity. Get a little bit of veteran help in there. And then we'll be able to see what can be done. I know I'm going to sound like a homer here. We are not one player away, but we're not in rebuild mode either. We are a few players away, a couple of key drafts, a couple of key free agents, and we could be the 2016 Raiders that's surprising everybody.
Yes. And we talked about on Wednesday with Miss Peggy, the Achilles heels, is that the right phrase I want to use, of this team, is on the offensive side. And if these numbers were just a little better, we are talking about a different team record wise, because the defense, though they're number 11 compared to what we all projected going into the season. We thought they were top 5, number 1, number 2, the way they ended. We thought that if the offense with a new offensive coordinator and then Aiden O'Connell having a full offseason with the starters, or Gardner Minshew coming off that a very good season from the Colts, almost getting them to the playoffs, he's now joining our team, that we were going to have at least an offense that can complement the defense, because this team is considered a defensive team. Of course, with the defense now in their 3rd year under Patrick Graham and then AP being head coach, but the offense just hasn't been showing up to games.
Again, I'm gonna be unpopular here. I've said it with me and Peggy have gone back and forth. We need the consistency going. I've seen some positives with Luke Getsy. If he could turn it around after the bye, assuming he doesn't get fired in the bye, which is a question I'm going to ask you about later. Does he make it past the bye? That's going to be the thing. If it could happen and he could work some magic, to me, the O-line is the reason why shit's not working.
Yeah, and I'm gonna cut up that video and then put it on its own video onto our page. But we broke it down on this past Wednesday, just on those 4 plays
No,
at the
we
goal
did.
line.
You did a hell of a job.
Well, I went back to my high school years when I played and coached. Just the simple little fundamental rules of blocking on the offensive line and looking at the feet work, because that's really what you got to look at when it comes to offensive linemen is their feet work. There was no zone blocking on the goal line. There's no attacking there because they're going forward and the offensive line is trying to go sideways. And now the defensive linemen are finding the holes that the running backs are supposed to go through, and they're stuffing the running back or they're stuffing the quarterback, like on that 4th down play when we try to pass it with 1 yard to go. No, with 3 yards, because we lost 2 yards on an I formation going lateral, not going instead of going forward, which I thought they would have. Now that you got an extra block in there with Bowers being that fullback in that formation, but I mean, Hondo Carpenter said it himself. This offense doesn't make any sense. And by the way, like I said, the offensive linemen are blocking. There's no real attack. So that running game that AP wants to attack and control the game, it's not with whatever the philosophy is with this offensive coordinator. And I feel like I'm saying the same thing I did with McDaniels last year. But whatever the philosophy is with this offensive coordinator, with just the run game, the scheme itself, it's not working. And the offensive line coach, he's not teaching these linemen to communicate before the line of scrimmage. See who's in front of you. Say something. Be vocal. Okay? I know our home games are away games because of the opposing teams. Fans are out there.
It's because we're in Vegas. This is an argument we're going to have as long as we're in Vegas, being a destination spot. I mean, Cincinnati, is that a destination spot? Cleveland, is that a destination spot? No, those are you got the people who are interested because of the home. It's the home crowd. You hear Vegas, and everybody wants to go to Vegas, so it's going to be a struggle. Now, granted, how do you solve that problem? Win. Okay. And I'll go there. It takes winning, and it's going to take some time. This is still new, but the whole with the whole home ground. But you change that by winning. You change that by winning.
Well, I'm just saying is that the communication within the line, you can hear the guys alongside of you because you're alongside. Now, I get it with the quarterback. If he's on the shotgun, he's back there, and then he's talking behind you. So, your helmet can't really hear behind you, but your ear holes are right here, so you can hear lateral. So, you can hear.
Get the whole offensive line hearing aids.
We're going to have, they all got green dots.
No. Not green dots, just hearing aids. See, there's only one earpiece allowed in helmets on defense and offense, but there's no rule against hearing aids.
Yeah, and then our ears get blown out because of the opposing fans in our stadium. It's too strong. So, can't hear nothing. Come back to the silent. All I hear is ringing. Yeah, okay. It's not going to work that way. But I mean, the offensive lineman, the center is supposed to call the blocking scheme, calling out who the linebacker, the middle linebacker, the Mike or whatever. So, he's supposed to be able to tell the offensive lineman how we're going to block this. And then, of course, the edge linemen, the tackles, they're supposed to see, okay, I got 2 guys like last week. Glaze had 2 guys, 2 is outside, always rushing in. He should have told Meredith, hey, I got 2 guys on my outside. He should have told the center, hey, we got 3 guys, 2 are outside, and you got 1 guy on the inside. Chip and hit, or something. So there has to be communication with that.
You said it Wednesday. You said it Monday when you and me talked to ourselves. If we change from the damn zone blocking, go to straight power blocking, and use the running back to help chip on that second guy, on the outside of glaze, whatever, outside the tackle, all that. Go to power blocking, and I think that's going to change the whole aspect. Now, I'm not trying to get ahead of myself here. We do have some information coming up later in the show, which might be able to help us in this and might force us into a little bit of power blocking.
Yeah, because and I think everyone has said it, not just us as fans, but even the I guess the people who are critics of the Raiders, like in the media and stuff, and even they said like, hey, the power blocking worked, especially with Zamir White coming off of the last 4 games he played, which I took that graph. I don't have that graphic up right now, but the way he finished the end of last season when Josh Jacobs was out, we all thought, okay, well, Zamir White now full off season, you're the starter. He was working hard. He was trying to get his body, more strength because he knew he was going to be the bell cow. And we're going to go zone. That's not, and this reminds me of.
And yeah, Zamir White is a power back. He needs power blocking, power back. Now, Madison is a zone blocker, but, it's okay to throw some zone block in there once in a while and to change it up and go. And you do need offensive linemen who are athletic enough to be able to do that. But we are set up to be a power blocking team.
Yeah, and Miss Peggy even said that a few weeks back. Well, she said that only 2 guys on this offensive line, or in the depth chart of the offensive linemen, has done zone blocking. Everybody else are power blockers. And it goes back to when we had Rodney Hudson in the middle and we had Jackson in the guard. And then Colton Miller was that left tackle. And then Incognito at left guard for that season and a half before he got injured. When he came in, like those were power blocking linemen. And Carr.
You said Incognito. You brought up an idea. I believe it was either on the Wednesday show or while we were talking just by ourselves, and I like that fucking idea.
Incognito for O-line coach.
Get Incognito rid of that motherfucker from San Francisco because he hasn't done shit with this offensive line. Bring in Incognito with the JPJ and a Glaze and shit and even Meredith, shit like that. That, with an Incognito, I think he could do a lot with that offensive line.
Yeah, because he was just there a few years ago. He went to visit this past training camp, so he's still around the team and just be like, hey, do you want to consider coaching? Because we can use someone like you with your experience, not just on how to block, but even the little tricks to control your defender that you're blocking, that Raider way, when you tap, Incognito.
Together, we could have a dominant O-line right there.
Incognito teaching the offensive lineman how to play incognito. When you got the brass knuckles, I'm joking.
Brass knuckles wrapped up in a bunch of tape and shit so you can't see it.
The Bob Brown thumb.
The thumb too, so you can jam him in the throat. The brass knuckles so you can hit him in the ear and fucking, fuck up his equilibrium.
Yeah, so I know equilibrium.
Took me 2 times to say it.
For 200, please. So I mean, we're just throwing it out there. But if it happens, remember, you heard it first here, guys. The Cage Match Show. We are, and last year, remember last year I was calling for a certain offensive lineman to shift around, and they did so. So someone's watching.
Hey, we said certain combinations. Oh no, you said offensive line. I said defensive. I said bring Tyree Wilson to the inside and utilize that bull rush, and they did it. And what ended up happening? Both of us were right, and we started winning games.
Yep.
So what we're trying to say, Raiders, watch the show, listen to what we have to say, because we might be able to help you out just a smidge. Not a whole lot, but just a smidge.
We're just here suggesting things that we seen. Like if because me and Asylum talked about this a couple times recently. If we was to put together the offensive line from left to right, we would go Thayer Mumford at left tackle.
Yeah.
We would have it's either JPJ at left guard and then Parham at center, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Meredith played good last year, but I just think with the scheme,
I think we'll solidify this a little bit. We'll put JPJ at center.
Yeah.
Parham at guard.
Yeah. And then Meredith, he played good last year when he was in the game, or in the lineup those last couple games. This scheme that we're running doesn't fit these linemen, but he's a young talent. Him at right guard, and then keep Glaze at that right tackle position. So I'm saying you heard it here first, okay? Because Colton Miller, yeah, he's a Pro Bowl tackle and he's got the experience. But
I think that shoulder injury is still there. He's just not the same this year as he has been for the last 3 years.
Yeah, so he just seems like he's been on a decline. So, I mean, we don't know, because I think he's a free agent, and I had these graphics made, but now I got to go find them and have them ready, because everyone's talking about the future. We're not really ready to throw this season away. I mean, we know it's going to be a climb. We know it's going to be a climb with the AFC West looking like that. We know it's going to be a climb to relevance for this season to be saved, but just for seeing what the future can hold, I don't know if Colton Miller is going to be a free agent after next year. I think it's a free agent after next year, and we were talking about this in an off-season show of what do we do with the money, with him when it comes up to his turn with a contract. But I think with the youth movement, we're the youngest team.
In 2026.
Okay, so after the 2025, after next season, he's a free agent. But after Devontae Adams was shipped out, I believe we became the youngest team in the NFL. But if we can get this offensive line, or we get somebody from free agent or whatever. But I just think that Colton Miller on that left side, being the blind side, because most likely we'll have a right-handed quarterback, whoever it is, whether it's Aaron O'Connell, Minshew, let's try it again, or whoever we draft, he's that blind side. So I just think he's on the decline, and
yeah, I think that shoulder is more serious than what is being led into, and I hate to say it, because Colton Miller, I remember when Gruden drafted him, and everyone said he was a bust, all this other bullshit, and he turned around, and a couple of years later, all of a sudden, he was one of the top left tackles in the game.
Sorry, this was here the natural way. We've been doing it for the last 22 years.
Brave if he found out we were trying to tank.
Yeah, he's like,
just a ghost.
Just win, baby, not just tank. We're not trying to tank.
No, we're not the goddamn Colts who suck for luck. We're not that way. That's just not in our DNA. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
If we lose, we lose. But we ain't going to do it on purpose.
You usually got to pay extra for that, Cotton. So, with that, I mean, Colton Miller, I don't know. And he's playing, he's trying. He's in the lineup every week, so I'm not trying to how do you know the phrase, put him out to pasture at the phrase or whatever.
But, I know. I'm with you on that. I don't want to give up on him necessarily, but at the same time, this year he's not the same player he was a year ago.
Yeah.
That injury seems to be lingering somehow, some way, more serious than what we originally thought it was.
Than we were led to be, yeah.
And if you keep him for depth, because of his experience, that's fine too. Maybe giving him a little bit more time off, can help shit get right and make things, work out and he could come back. But what I'm seeing now, you can't blame Rust. The Rust should be gone.
Yeah.
So there it's got to be more than what we're hearing about this injury that is from last year.
Yeah. So, and it's like what Max Crosby said when he wasn't effective in that Carolina game, and he said he elected to stay out on that Browns game where he said, I should have, coming off the high ankle sprain from the Raven game, I shouldn't have played that Carolina game. Even though I was out there, I wasn't affected. I wasn't effective. So I feel like I did more harm than good for being out there on the team in that game. And like I said, I'm not trying to. It's your fault, Colton Miller. I'm not trying to say that, but I'm just trying to say.
We're not
sometimes,
saying that. 50% Colton Miller is better than some of the other offensive linemen that we've seen, throughout the NFL. But at the same time, he, being it's a blindside position, you need somebody who's at least 80%, not 50%. And if he needs that extra time, then we need to be able to pull him out, give him that extra bit of time to get right. Because he had surgery in the offseason.
Yeah, he missed the whole offseason because of it.
Yeah, maybe, just maybe, he's still not there. It's almost like the Tyree Wilson, plantar fasciitis last year, where he shouldn't have played. He should have come in week 10, 11, 12, instead of starting like he did and affect them. There's sometimes in injury you have to just let them heal 100%, and it just feels like he's not 100% after that surgery.
Chandler Jones, CT is not real. So, going into this game, the head-to-head matchup between the Raiders and the Bengals. Raiders are 2-6, fourth in the AFC West. The Bengals are 3-5, third in the AFC North, above the Browns. So, the last time we played the Bengals, well, first of all, we lead the series, the all-time series, 21-13. The last time we played the Bengals, if we all remember, because it was just recently, in the playoffs, the 2021 playoff season, January 15, 2022, the Raiders were in Cincinnati, like we're going to go this weekend, and we lost to the Bengals in that wild card game, the Phantom Whistle.
The Phantom Whistle.
So we do have, I guess that's, we have that, and then we have the game a long time ago where Bo Jackson got injured. That was in 1990, where the Raiders did win that game, but then ended up getting blown out by the Bills that following week in the championship game. So there is some history between the two teams of significance, especially in the playoffs. So that right there is your head-to-head. And, of course, our offensive coordinator, our assistant head coach was the Bengals head coach for a long time before he came to our sideline in Marvin Lewis. So that is your head-to-head matchup. The numbers of the wins right there. We have lost the last two meetings. Well, like I said, the last one's a playoff game, and then in the same season, we lost in the regular season. But we did beat them in when we were still the Oakland Raiders, and I was at that game. So was I. Joe Burrow was it was still the Red Rocket. It was still,
it was Andy Dalton,
but he wasn't playing that game, and I was at that game. Huh?
It was the Red Rifle, not the Red Rocket.
Whatever. He's still, anyways. So. That was the last time that we won. We were the Oakland Raiders. In the last season in Oakland, that was a home game. I was at that game. And we took care of business then. And I know Joe Burrow is injured, but most likely he will play. Let's look at the numbers between the two teams. The Raiders' offense is 23rd to their 15. Their passing offense is very good, as you can see right there. But our defense is 15th to their 25. So we should have well, actually, no. It's strength on strength right there. Strength on strength.
Mm-hmm.
Our defense versus their offense, both ranking 15. Our passing offense is 14 to their 6, like I said. And our rushing, see, we're almost a mirror image of each other. Our rushing is 31st, and their rushing is 27th. So, and if you look deep into the depth of the rankings, Raiders offense ranked 28th, 288.1 yards a game. Their Raiders rushing offense 79 yards a game, which is 31st, 209.1. Passing yards a game, which is 18th. Points per game, 18 points, which is 26th. The Bengals 325.3 yards a game on their offense, which is ranked 18, 89.8. 28th their rushing yards per game. Their passing yards per game, 235.5, which is 7th. 24.4 points per game, which is 10th. And like I said, their offense is ranked 18th. The Raiders defense, 219 points. They give up yards a game, which is 11th. Rushing yards, they give up 129.9, which is 19th. Passing yards, they give up 189.1, which is 7th. Points per game, 26.3, which is 27th in the league. Overall defense is 11th, and the Bengals defense, 358.6 yards per game, which is 24th. They give up 139.3, which is 20 of rushing yards, which is 24th. Their passing yards, they give up 219.4, 21st in the league. Points per game, they give up 25.4, which is 23rd, with a total defense ranking of 24th. Asylum, what do those numbers tell you right there?
I was going to say, I hear two different things when you gave all those numbers. One, the Bengals are one-dimensional.
Yes. Sounds like
they can pass the ball, but they can't run for shit.
Yes.
And secondly, when it comes to the defensive side of the ball, we are superior. So I'm seeing you're saying rushing game, 24th in rushing yards per game. We might, I'm gonna say might be able to rush the ball this game.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're one-dimensional, we might be able to linebackers, secondary person, something like that, and be able to keep that one dimension in hand. I'm hearing that there's a chance of winning this game and not being a homer, but if you keep them one-dimensional and be able to focus on the pass game and secondarily run the ball like AP wants to do, we should be able to control the game and come out with the W.
Yeah, we just hope that because we're good in the beginning. We're good.
Hey, what's up, Jeff? Hey,
is that him?
Yes, there you go. Hopefully you subscribe. How you doing? Good to see you.
What is up, brother? On the East Coast. He's also in enemy territory like you are in enemy territory.
He is. Yes, he is. Great guy. Knows his shit.
Yes. Was raised right, Raider fan. Now looking at the Raiders offensive leaders, you got Minshew, 67% pass completion rating. The big number right there is 6 touchdowns, but with the 8 interceptions. He didn't have one last week, but he did have the fumble. Madison leads the way, but see, our rushing numbers are still low. Bowers is the number one leader of tight ends throughout the NFL, not just rookies, but overall in the NFL with receptions and yards. We just got to get his touchdown numbers up. And Jacoby Myers coming back last week strong. Coming back strong. We got to get him going.
From his injury, what was he, out for 2 weeks?
Yeah, with the ankle, yes.
Yeah, for 2 weeks. So, I mean, that was a hell of a showing to be able to come back and prove that he was the number one receiver even while we had Devontae Adams.
Yeah, and it has been said throughout even last year and through training camp going into this season that he was the most productive offensive player on the Raiders on the team.
Yeah, well, second to Brock Bowers, because Brock Bowers is kind of fucking killing it right now.
Well, yeah, right now, but I mean, last year leading in to
the
last
season. Year going, we didn't know what we had with Brock Bowers until the game started. But between Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers, I mean, come on. We should be scoring a hell of a lot more points than we have been.
Yes. Joe Burrow, 70.3 completion percentage. With 1993, much more. Ice Cube, come on. Sorry.
Sophomore.
I was in third grade. The touchdowns to interception ratio, 15 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. Joe Burrow's having a decent season so far. No, actually pretty good. Their rushing game, Brown and Moss both 78, about 70, 80 carries. 4 touchdowns for Brown, 2 touchdowns for Moss. And receiving, Chase and Higgins, 7 touchdowns for Chase, 3 for Higgins. Because the pass game is their strength. If you look at Burrow's numbers, as right here,
hey, look, Macaulay Culkin.
Culkin on Halloween, trick or treat, 1,993 yards passing, 15 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, with a rating of 106.5, completion 70.3, sacked 19 times, so we can get to him. He does have a long pass of 70 yards, and once again, his rating 106.5. So, Joe Burrow, even though...
we have choose numbers right now to compare?
I don't have that one. Sorry.
Oh, damn.
Oh, I got... Well, no, I don't have that. I didn't have that one. I have his numbers from last week, though. Last week. The completion percentage is pretty even overall. I know that. And Minshew had missed 2 games when he was benched. And then coming into the...
it wasn't even 2 games. It was more like a game and a quarter.
Yeah, it was a game and a quarter. So, but, once again, we got to stop them turnovers.
And that's a big thing right there.
Yeah.
We need to start getting turnovers and stop giving up turnovers.
Yeah. So right there, that is your the team that we're facing. That is your matchup right there. And we talked about like the title is the last game. Basically the last game to show what are we gonna do, what do we have or whatever going into the bye week, because not only is it the bye week, this Tuesday is the trade deadline. And do you have that ready? Do you have that ready?
No, I'm not ready to go there. I'm ready now.
So with that, I know everyone's watching YouTube and they see all these different things are said and reading what's in social media and who's going where and whatever. So we're going to kind of talk about that right now. Here we go with our rumor segment. Here we go.
Look at all these rumors surrounding me every day.
All right. So with that, we have the 6 players, the 6 players that we keep hearing about who might be on the move. And I know Max Crosby is on this list, but even though he shut it down, people are still trying to say...
Davis shut it down.
Everyone just wants...
Mark Davis, Max Crosby, even Richard Seymour shut the shit down. The new partial owner, minority owner of the Raiders shut the shit down.
Exactly. But you know why it keeps getting brought up?
Because he's Max Crosby.
Because he's Max Crosby, and because you got people who do... all that clickbait. So, Asylum, let's really break this down, okay? Now, Max Crosby, we already know that Max Crosby is not on the move, and I know I'm not in the building to tell you what my sources say that it's not going to happen.
That's never going to fucking happen.
That's never going to happen, because if you're trying to build a team, if you was to flirt with anything of Max Crosby going anywhere as of any kind of news directly from the team itself.
If we're a clickbait kind of show and going to say something, we would turn around and title our show Max Crosby Gone. And then at the end of the show, tell you it ain't going to happen.
Yeah, because we just clickbaited you into thinking, oh, they know. Oh, you just basically told me nothing. But looking at these numbers, this is Max Crosby's numbers for the season: 26 tackles, 10 assists, 6.5 sacks. He missed one game. That was against the Browns. He is 27 of his career. So Max Crosby is durable. 27 years old. He won't be a free agent until after the 2027 season. Yeah, he can get a lot of the Raiders can get a lot of picks, but if you was to go, basically, I guess what I'm saying is, if you was to go and give up guys like Max Crosby or Jacoby Myers or even Spillane,
Jacoby Myers, I gotta put in that same boat as Max Crosby, is he ain't fucking going anywhere.
Yeah.
You just gave up Devontae Adams, and the only reason you did is because you try to do him right because of what happened to the Cars and shit like that. When he asked for the fucking trade, you just said, all right, fine, we'll give you what you want.
Yeah. But Max Crosby, Jacoby Myers, Robert Spillane.
Hey, look at that.
These
79 fucking tackles by Spillane alone.
Yeah. And, he's making history this season right there. But these are key players to your own team's development for next season. Yeah, okay, you can get picks, but going to the draft to get a lot of players, yeah, okay, you might get a whole bunch of talented players, but now you have a whole bunch of rookies. You just sent out your veterans.
Now you're playing craps, hoping you get the fucking, get what you want and don't get the snake eyes.
Yeah. So for people, because we see, from what I heard, Spillane was tied to the Bills, which is funny because who was the last time we sent a linebacker traded to the Bills who wore number 41?
Phil Villapiano.
Phil Villapiano, who should be in the Hall of Fame. Spillane is playing like that same Villapiano, getting interceptions, knocking people down. We're not going to trade him. You're not going to trade him because then if you trade guys, like I said, Max Crosby, Jacoby Myers, Robert Spillane, just any of those three guys alone, you're telling everybody we're rebuilding.
I'll even throw Nate Hobbs in that shit. Nate Hobbs is one of the best top 3, if not the top nickel defender in the NFL.
Yeah.
I'll throw Nate Hobbs in that list that you just said.
Yeah, and Nate Hobbs, he's still on that rookie contract, so Raiders can still pick up his option. He's going to be a free agent after this year. And right here, Coach D says, Jenkins or Cody, which if you look at their age, if we can get something, especially with Jenkins at 35, nearing the end of his career, because, he tackled in the trenches for a long time.
But I'm going to argue with this. I think it's funny that Jenkins and Whitehair all of a sudden worth something. And listen to what fucking Max Crosby has said about Jenkins himself. He says Jenkins has been playing the best ball of his career now with the Raiders. Why are you going to get rid of a depth player? Somebody who could be, you might be able to bring somebody else in, but he is definitely a depth piece that you want to keep at least for the next couple of years.
Let him finish out his career with the Raiders.
Exactly.
And then Cody White here, with the way our offensive line is, he's a decent role player coming in, but I don't see Whitehair coming back next year. We don't know what's going to happen with the offense on the offensive side in particular. But like you said, Nate Hobbs, especially in this division, with guys like Mahomes at quarterback and their weapons that they keep trying to trade for more receivers, or I keep forgetting his name, but the dude from the Chargers, Herbert. Herbert, and even, I guess Bo Nix is slowly creeping up. He's getting wins, or he's looking good, I guess.
Yeah. Bo Nix has surprised a lot of people. I don't think anybody's expecting him to play as well as he has so far. Now, Don't get me wrong, it could all collapse, or he could just grow from there. But nobody expected Bo Nix to go. Like you said, I agree. It's one of those things. A veteran presence on that O-line goes a long way. Whether they're a backup piece or not, it can go a long way because they can help these younger guys learn what they need to learn. I mean, a Whitehair, I know he's usually on the left side, could help a DJ Glaze on the right side.
Yeah.
He could help a JPJ. He could help whoever we draft next year, whatever, however you want to look at it, this next draft, he might be able to help, just that veteran presence. You always want that veteran presence because they're the ones who could teach even better than a coach at times because they play the position and know the little nuances, might know the division well enough to be able to say, hey, this particular person likes to do this. This is how you counteract that.
And you know where all this is coming from, right? All this talk, just in general, from everybody.
Madden.
Now, not from Madden, but, traditionally, Raiders, they're not really ones to, and unless the player is disgruntled, or, like a Randy Moss about 10 plus years ago when he didn't want to be here. So Al Davis sent him to the Patriots. Or who?
Khalil Mack.
But a lot of this happened in the middle. Right before the season. Raiders traditionally never made any moves unless they're bringing somebody in. Don't really make any moves in the middle of the season, especially sending guys out for more picks. Now, saying that, Al Davis has been the GM for the longest until he passed away. Then we had guys like McKenzie, and then Mayock, and then Ziegler last year for the year and a half. But Raiders don't technically they don't send out guys. But I guess everyone is looking at Telesco like he is this little snake, or like this little. Tired.
I'm getting tired of hearing that Telesco needs to be fired. And yet, in the fucking first season as a Raiders GM, what did he do? He was able to fix the problem the Raiders had for the last 15, 20 years and make good picks in the draft in the first 3 fucking rounds. Raiders have been great no matter who they brought in. You can bring in McKenzie, all those things we said. In the later rounds, we've been able to find gems.
Max Crosby.
There's a long list. We've been able to find gems. But in the first 3 to 4 rounds, we have struggled on getting quality players. And yet in his first year, who is his first 3 fucking picks?
Brock Bowers, Brock Bowers, JPJ, and then DJ Glaze.
Now, I'll ask everybody out there in the chats, in the Raider world, are you going to give up those 3 first picks? Or are you going to take what we got?
No, I like those 3 picks, and it goes back to your argument that you said a while back. Okay, let's talk about Bo Nix. Okay, let's talk about Bo Nix because I believe Bo Nix was available when we picked because he went after. I thought he went after.
No, he went the pick before us.
Oh yeah, 12. Yeah, they were 12. Okay.
Yeah, he went the pick before us.
But let's just say Bo Nix was available in that spot with us. Okay, not Penix, but let's just say Bo Nix.
Okay, so you got Bo Nix and Brock Bowers, right?
Oh no. Follow me here, okay? I'm going off of your argument you said on another show that we don't name here, but you was in the comments saying that. Doesn't matter because Bo Nix, everyone thought he was not a good quarterback coming out, even though he was part of the top 8, whatever, that were gonna get picked in the early round of the first round. But Bo Nix was probably on the bottom of those top quarterbacks.
Yeah,
And
he was nearly at the bottom.
So Bo Nix is having a decent year for a rookie. Who was his offensive coordinator? Who designs his offense?
Well, Sean Payton. Right. I don't know who his offensive
Sean Payton. Sean Payton. It's basically Sean Payton. If Bo Nix came to the Raiders, would he have that same success?
Well, I know this far. I know I've said it on our show and I've said it on other shows because everyone's saying sell the farm for Jaden Daniels, the number 2 pick overall. Do you think Jaden Daniels would be as successful as he is right now if he fell to the Raiders?
Jaden Daniels would probably look like Richardson right now. Probably look like the dude from the Carolina right now. Because if a veteran looks horrible, Minshew never had a year like he had this year. If a veteran's going to look horrible, now I know these other quarterbacks, these younger quarterbacks, they're going to run and they'll probably run their way out of trouble. But now we're going to just have a quarterback that's going to be susceptible to injury because he's putting himself out there and trying to go head on to these linebackers.
We use Jaden Daniels again going to the last game that he had. Do you think with this offensive line and the way shit's gone, do you think he would have been in that last game to throw the Hail Mary to win the game?
No.
But yet everybody wants him thinking he's going to be a fucking savior because all they're looking at is one position. They're not looking at the overall offense. Yes, we have receivers. Yes, we have, a tight ends. Running game has not been good. Why? Offensive line. Quarterback play has not been good. Why? Offensive line. Yet Peggy even said it. Would Aiden O'Connell have broken his thumb if the offensive line was able to play halfway to the expectations that they should be playing?
True.
So everybody who wants to say, I wish we would have sold the farm, which would have cost what, 4 or 5 first round draft picks to get Jaden Daniels, which we all knew that 100% Washington Redskins did not want to trade that draft pick. So it would have cost more than the farm. It would cost the goddamn country to get him.
It would have cost Raider Nation.
Would he still be playing at the level that he is now with the Redskins?
Yeah, and that's true.
And if you say yes, I want whatever the fuck you're smoking because you got the good shit.
And that's what I'm saying. Even Bo Nix is looking good in Denver compared to what people projected he was going to come out looking. But he has Sean Payton, who's had an established offense when he was with the New Orleans Saints, and Drew Brees. We have Getsy, who is in his 3rd year of being an offensive coordinator, still trying to figure out what type of offense.
I agree with that, Coach D, but at the same fucking time, do you think he'd have time to be able to make a decision as a fucking rookie?
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. You could blame Getsy on the play calling. I know I've been riding that line when it comes to Getsy. So we'll put Getsy's play calling and that offensive line, which is starting to get shit figured out, but they're not quite there yet, with Jaden Daniels. And do you think he would have as many wins as he does now? I'm going to fucking say no. I think we'll be in the exact same spot. The only difference is we'd have a rookie quarterback that everybody would turn around and make excuses for. Oh, it's the O-line. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. Instead of putting the blame where it should be at right fucking now.
Yeah. Because like we said, we broke it down last week or on Wednesday, and it's like, this is probably why we're not going anywhere with this offense, because the offense doesn't make any sense. And I don't know, people are trying to break down what AP is talking about in his last press conference. I didn't watch today's, but the one on Wednesday, where they said, well, he's putting blame on Getsy. Well, hey, he said, well, I mean, I know it was different because he was very vague, but he did say business decisions. But if Getsy, hey, you're the offensive coordinator.
Hey, I'm gonna say it like this. I have been the component of consistency first, continuity. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, we need the continuity. But if Getsy's the fucking problem, I'd rather change offensive coordinators than, other things. But when it comes down to it, everyone's talking about this, that, and the other. When it comes, we could have had Penix. Penix wouldn't have done shit. Penix would be worse than fucking Minshew on this team. I'll say it right now. Jaden Daniels may have a chance, but he would not be the Jaden Daniels that everyone's turning around and saying that we should have got. They'd be turning around and making every excuse for him, and doesn't continue.
Did anyone predict what Daniels is doing now?
To be honest with you, I didn't. I thought he'd have a decent season, but I didn't think he's going to be doing what he did now. I did not expect a oh god damn it. Who was a first round pick a few years ago?
CJ
Stroud. There you go.
Second pick of the draft last year.
Which is funny because CJ Stroud ain't doing as hot as he did when he was a rookie. He's winning games, but he's not playing, things ain't going as well as they did.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say you have to make the system work for the QB. You have plain and simple, and Getsy will ruin any of those. Okay, but that's the point I'm trying to make.
And that's what I was trying to say for you.
No, and that said it perfect. Thank you,
Polo.
New England Raiders boosters, Jeff. That's the point I was trying to make. I've been the proponent, whatever, however you say it, on Getsy, trying to say, is it Getsy or is it execution? But when it comes down to it, will Jaden Daniels and CJ Stroud, everything that everybody fucking wants in the world because they're goddamn geniuses who do this shit from their couch versus the people who do this shit every day, day in and day out. Would these players be as good as everybody's seeing now if they were drafted at the time when they're on the Raiders? Would it happen? Can CJ Stroud, can Daniels, can fucking Caleb Williams, can fucking Penix, Bo Nix, can any of these fucking quarterbacks be as good as they are playing right now with this fucking offensive line? And I agree, I didn't want Penix. I was so happy that Atlanta panicked and did what they did. Penix was the last guy I fucking wanted.
We should call them.
I'd rather have Spencer Rattler before I had fucking Penix.
We should call Atlanta Mylanta because they gave us relief in the draft. Polo says no because we don't have a coach.
Are we talking about head coach? Are we talking about offensive coordinator? Are we talking about offensive line coach? Which coach are we specifically talking about?
It's and I'm gonna go back to what Coach D said earlier. It was
okay. Raider D, hold on. Where the hell did the comments go? I agree with you there to an extent, but we also have a rookie head coach. He's got to learn what he knows and what he doesn't know, and be able to make decisions from there. Now, as far as position coaches, which is offensive line, defensive line, cornerback, wide receivers, all that other shit, might have to get funnel down and go. But AP needs the time to figure out what he knows and doesn't know. The one thing AP has that a lot of coaches don't have is the locker room who's willing to run through a goddamn wall for him. There's only a few teams, Lions, Texans. There's goddamn, I'm trying to think. There's at least two more who have coaches that the players have bought into to the point it don't matter what happens on the field. They're willing to die for these coaches. And the Raiders are one of them.
Who was the? I know he got fired after last season. I'm forgetting who he was, but he was the Titans.
Ram. That's another team.
Yeah.
Who has a quarterback that's at the end of his career struggling, but that team with injuries. Puka is out again, apparently, with another fucking knee injury. But they're doing everything they can to be able to do this shit. There
we go. That's what I was trying to say. Vrabel.
Vrabel's not coaching right now, but yes, Vrabel with the Titans when he was coaching is another one. All that matters. And yet all those coaches named their first goddamn year as a head coach. How well did any of them do? Did any of them fucking make the playoffs? Did any of them make it even deep in the playoffs?
The coach last year.
DeMarco Murray.
DeMarco Murray got to I think the division.
Okay, so one coach out of what? 5, 6?
Say it again.
I said so. That's one coach out of 5 or 6 that we just talked about.
Yeah, Dan Campbell won 3. Dan Campbell won 3-14. I believe they were still doing 3-13. I think they were still doing 16-game seasons. His first year with the Lions, he was an interim, I think, with Miami a few years back, but officially as a head coach, with the Lions, he started off 3-13, and they were building after that. Maybe it's a case where AP just needs to stop overthinking things, take the training wheels off of himself, and be, because and that's what I was saying in the beginning of the season. We got a rookie head coach, and the one thing that I thought about it, and I think I've heard other people who remember. I hope that he doesn't compare to a Singletary when Singletary took over the 49ers. But I just think at that time they didn't have a quarterback either, and I forgot who was the coach before. It was Mike Nolan was the coach, and everyone was getting tired of Mike Nolan, so he was a breath of fresh air, and then they made him the coach, and he was pissing off players though, like their tight end. I forgot who it was, but like their tight end did. But I mean, that's what I was hoping that he didn't become. I'm not gonna say he's there yet, but he's a rookie head coach, and we all knew that he had a couple years of he had a year and a half of experience as an NFL head coach. He does have some college experience as a coach. He does have his playing career experience understanding the players, but we knew this going in that it could be, we have to think realistic on what the results were going to be when AP took over because of his inexperience as an NFL coach. So, and that's what I said in the beginning of the season. Like, what are we? We have our expectations of what we want, but realistically, if they look like this, how is that going to change the perception that we have for AP? If we look like this record or that, the defense is still playing as hard as they can, being put into these situations with short fields and all because of the turnovers. But we weren't expecting the offense to. It's like maybe we should have kept Bo Hardegree and seeing where that came from. I mean, not seeing where that came from, seeing where that could have went.
And I want to answer Coach D's question here. So when do we hold the coaches and players accountable? Right now, we are. But the question is it the coaches or is it the players? Is it execution or is it coaching? You have to figure out where it is. The problem is first before you can hold them accountable. So if it's the players, I'm all for holding them accountable. If it's the coaching, I'm all for holding them accountable as well. And you can ask Peggy, Savage, even Captain Jack. I have veered towards holding Getsy accountable for the offense. I have. But at the same time, if the offensive line is not doing their job and not executing, is that completely on Getsy? So if we're going to hold them all accountable, then our offense as a total, coaching and players, are shit right now, and something's got to get fixed. Is that on AP? Yes, it is. But at the same time, he's a rookie. Like you said, Dan Campbell went 3-14, 3 whatever it was.
3-13.
3-13. His
Three
first
total
year.
wins. Yeah.
Let AP learn what he needs, what he knows, and what he doesn't know, so he can make the adjustments, whether it's a player adjustment or a coach adjustment, to help the team. He has to learn. You just like a rookie quarterback. I guarantee Derek Carr, fucking all these other. If we had Jaden Daniels, I guarantee every Raider goddamn fan would be turning around and saying, "Well, he's a rookie. Give him time to learn." So why can't we give the head coach the same courtesy as you're going to give a fucking player? Why do players get, special treatment and coaches not? AP is a first-time head coach, and he needs to learn.
I wanted to, because I had this up. I do believe that, because it seems like when players become coaches, now it's a newer era where things are different. We don't practice as much. We don't hit hard as much. And then this one right here, I mean, that's if it's not, and I do agree 100%. But it's also, we go through the first 15, whatever the plays it is that's scripted, and then we just go into this super conservative. We're trying to force and we say all the time, let the pass open up the run. But we're trying to continue, and then you have guys like you have Zamir White. There was a play last week where they had him go lateral. That's not his game. And you should know that's not his game because you had him last year. And I know Getsy wasn't here last year, but the rest of AP, they all know that that's not his game. He's a power up front, up the middle. And you got him going lateral and then trying to cut in. Now he lost 3 yards. And I think throughout the whole game, he had like -2 yards or something. It was like -2 yards or something like that. And so it's also knowing how to use the players that you have out there in that formation, out there in that play. You're going to go and put the wrong guy out there. And then even going back a couple games ago, when Madison started off hot, and then you didn't see Madison for basically the majority of the rest of the game. So it's things like that that are confusing, that are questionable, where it's like, Getsy, what are you doing? Now we got you up in the booth to hope maybe you can see better and see everything that's going on, but it's still not working. You're using the wrong guys in the plays that you're using. Madison is the zone runner. Zamir White is the bruiser. Zamir White's supposed to be the power runner, but you got Zamir White trying to go down lateral. And, it's part of the argument is, well, they should know what they should all know how to run all the plays. Yeah, okay, if there's an injury, but if you have both guys available and the team knows you're going to try to run, put the right guy in the situation. Madison can go lateral and then cut up. Zamir White, that's not his game. So it seems like that where it's like, Getsy, what are you doing? What are you calling?
I'll go this far. I hear what you're saying, and I know Coach D talked about. I'm trying to find the comment. Where the hell is it at? Oh, here it is. I wouldn't be mad at Getz if he showed imagination. Now I'm going to give you something here that a lot of people, because of what they see in the middle of the game, affects what they see in the beginning and the end of the game. Getz's imagination. You talked about the scripted plays. That's Getz's imagination right there. It's worked out so fucking well for us. Now let's look at the fucking fourth quarter. Halfway through the fourth quarter, we'll talk about the Ravens game, the Chiefs game, shit like that, where we start making that comeback. The imagination's fucking there. It's the middle of the game that Getsy's losing everything.
And
so
that's
the
what I'm saying.
imagination is there. Don't, let's not put blinders up because we see the bad and don't want to see the fucking good. That way we can talk shit. That's why I've always asked, is it the execution or is it the fucking play calling?
But my argument was, look at the personnel that he sometimes uses for certain plays.
Okay.
Having Zamir White going lateral when Zamir White should be going up the middle on like a third and long.
The middle. Oh. No, and I agree with that. But Zamir White can't go up the middle if they're fucking zone blocking.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But if if Madison's available.
But yet again, let's go with the first 15 scripted plays.
I know,
but it's not perfect, right?
I know, but going back to, let's say, like the Steeler game. Please, the Steeler game. Madison was good in those scripted plays. Then he disappeared. He wasn't hurt. He wasn't, and then
But that's after. I'm going to Raider D's comment, Coach D.
It's not Raider D.
I'm sorry, I fucking caught it. I'll say Coach D about the imagination being there. It's fucking there. The problem is we have fans just being blind to shit. That's why I say, is it? Tell me, prove to me. Is it the coaching? Is it Getsy? I'll gladly, if you can prove to me, I'll say fire Getsy right now. Or is it execution? Because in the middle of the fucking game, the players don't know what the fuck to do. And then all of a sudden, somewhere in the fourth quarter, when we're trying to win the game, come back and win the game, which we don't have Derek Carr, who I believe still is one of the top comeback quarterbacks, since, 2014, kind of players. Since, we're trying to make those comebacks. So we have it at the beginning and we have it at the end. The imagination is there. But a lot of these Raiders fans put those blinders on. It's like horse racing. They put blinders on so they can't see the outside. They only see the middle because some horses get spooked, all kinds of shit like that. Guess what's on the outsides? That first quarter and the last quarter. All we're focusing on is the middle where, yes, we're struggling and we're struggling bad. But tell me, is that truly coaching or is it play calling or is it a combination of both?
I'm going to say it has to be coaching because now we're going into week 8. And if the players still don't understand what's going on, then that means it's the coaching. Execution-wise, you can have all these players run the play, but you call the wrong play or you have the wrong players in certain situations. That's not to their strength. And now we're running into a wall because, and then also, and I don't know if there is, because Minshew does know how to audible, but you don't see audibling. You don't see him really too much moving things around. Like, okay, this play's not going to work. And they even asked Minshew, hey, are the plays that you're running, like, are you comfortable when they call him in certain situations? And he kind of gave that vague, oh, no, I'm comfortable with all plays. He gave the Jamarcus Russell answer. Oh, yeah. We're going all the plays. But that, and I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, the beginning and the end. But it's that middle with the wasted series with the wasted series. Hold on. With the wasted series that we give the opposing team more opportunities to now they're scoring, and that's the question that all of us, like for me, and I'm assuming Coach D is asking the same question is, and at the end of the game, why are we all of a sudden moving down the field? Where is that in the middle of the game? It's like we're trying to control the game at the middle of the first or at the beginning of the second. We still got a whole bunch of game left. We got to keep being aggressive and using what's working. But we're not using what's working. We'll show what we can do. Okay, we got the imagination. We'll continue imagining, Getsy. Continue imagining.
And I agree with that. But with his question or his statement, which was, if there was imagination, I could be on board with Getsy. To me, he's blocking it out. Yes, Minshew 6 CDs, 8 interceptions.
Interception, nuts.
What was it? 2 or 3 fumbles?
Yeah.
Is that on Minshew or is that on Getsy? That's what I'm trying to say. Is that on Minshew or is that on Getsy? Is it Minshew reading the field wrong and throwing the ball in the wrong spot, or is that Getsy's play calling? We see Getsy's play calling, the scripted plays work. I mean, against the Chiefs, we were up fucking 10-7, going. It was there. The Broncos game. If it wasn't for that pick six, 100-yard pick six, that deflated the fucking team, is that yet again players, execution, or was that play calling? Yes, we're losing it in the middle, so we got to figure out the middle. We've got the beginning and end going for us, but is that 100% on Getsy?
And that's when we're breaking down just those 4 plays alone on the goal line last week. We broke that down on Wednesday. I went back and forth just on that first play alone, and it's hard to decipher. Is it execution, or is it coaching? Is it the play calling? Because the play calling doesn't make sense.
Sorry, go ahead. Finish your thought. I want to respond to this comment here, but finish your thought.
No, but it's like if you're right there, 1 yard line, second down, 1 yard line to go into the end zone, why are we going lateral? And it's things like that a lot of us, and I'm saying I have now been moved over to I'm on the fire Getsy train now. Either sit him down, have Philbin if he wants call the plays, or even the receiver coach, because he's been with the team for a long time, have him call the plays. But whether it's gun shy, whatever it is, if your coaches don't trust the players on the field, well, then that's coaching. And because it's like, well, then you're the one that coached them, you don't trust them. What are we going to do then? You got to figure out what works for them to at least get through. Bo Hardegree figured it, to the best of his ability at the level he was as a play caller, because that was his first time being a play caller. He was able to, come up with an offense that got by. But Getsy, it's like, come on. Yeah, and maybe we have to go simple.
But with who?
What? And that's where...
No, it was with Aiden O'Connell. But now I'm going to go back here. With Jeff here. You want to talk about garbage time. Was it garbage time with the Chiefs? No, it wasn't. We were in that game all the way fucking going. Defense held us in that game. You can't blame garbage time for fucking everything. When it comes to that. Yes. Was it play calling? Yes. That fucking drive after the interception, the Morgan interception, putting us on the 3-yard line. Yes. You broke that down brilliantly. Stop running sideways and go forward. I will put that one on Getsy. I will put that one 100% on Getsy. And don't get me wrong. I'm leaning towards the firing of Getsy. But at the same time, I don't want to hear that Getsy's a complete, moron on this shit. And, I know Peggy says he's over his head. And yes, I could agree with her on that. Maybe he's over his head because it shows in the middle of the game. It shows in the middle of the game. And yes, when it comes to the quarterback play with Minshew, with O'Connell this year, the offensive line has to take some heat. It has to take some heat. Because Minshew is having people. But again, we saw it. Minshew's running in circles. That's not on the offensive line. That's on fucking Minshew. Hold the player accountable when it's the player's fault. Hold the coach accountable when it's the coach's fault.
And that's where we're kind of, because if we would have seen more of O'Connell, maybe we could have said, okay, well, maybe it's Minshew, or maybe it is a play calling. O'Connell, like you said, there was a game in 2 series, or 2-3 series, and he was done. So, but it's like,
and I'll agree with Jeff here. Where was Bowers? We stopped doing Bowers. We stopped
Bowers and Mayers. Yeah, Bowers and Mayers.
You know, we stopped using both of them. Mayers had 2 touchdowns in the game. Right? He had 2 touchdowns in the game, but he disappeared in the middle. Is that play calling? I'll give the play calling. Something needs to change in the middle of the game. But again, Coach D said, if I can't see any imagination in the play calling, but the imagination's there. So the problem is Getsy's not continuing doing what's worked and is overthinking shit and trying to get too complicated on the play calling. Like you said, right? With Hardigree last year. Why did it work so well? It was a simple fucking playbook that we grew as the season came on. Maybe we need to simplify this playbook that Getsy's got going on, because that's what the scripted plays are, is a simplified playbook in the beginning of the game, and script the fucking first 15 plays and keep running those same plays until they don't fucking work no more. But then that goes on AP2 on saying, why not continue with the scripted plays and telling his fucking offensive coordinator what he wants.
And I think what we're doing, and we're all saying all the right, us, me, you, Coach D, any Raider boosters, we're all saying the same thing, but we're going in circles because everything that I said is correct. Everything that you said is correct. Everything that Coach D said is correct. Everything that Raider Booster said is correct.
And
so it's like,
Jeff, I agree with you 100% on this. It is on the OC, and I'm not trying to take anything off of him. I'm not trying to say Getsy's the fucking genius and shit, but we need players to execute, and it starts with the fucking offensive line.
I just think that this zone blocking, you can't be a physical team with this zone blocking scheme, especially whatever. I'm going to make that a t-shirt. You can't be a physical team with the zone blocking scheme, especially when I'm going to put the video out that we did on Wednesday, this past Wednesday. You're on the 1 yard line with 3 downs left. That first down, 1st and 3 on the goal line, you got to the 1. Okay. That first play, though, was the only time that we really went up the middle. Or we really tried to go up the middle. Those next 3 plays on the 1 yard line, or the next 2 plays on the 1 yard line, we're trying to be too cute and go sideways. Just push the man forward. We just need 1 yard, whether it's the quarterback sneak, like you said, like that, break the pylon, break the the goal line.
Yeah, break the
plane. Or running back, just push. Just push. That's what we do the sled. Offensive line does the sled. See, everyone agrees. Like the offensive line, we do the sled in practice so we can push these guys in the real game. Especially in goal line, we just need 1 or 2 yards. Stop with this cute stuff. Go in lateral and go man on man and drive somebody back into the goalpost. We got guys like that. We have guys that can do that, but we're trying to have them, go lateral and dance. We're basically doing a football practice. We call it karaoke. We're just doing karaoke to the side, and we're getting pushed back because we don't have any force going forward. We're going sideways and getting pushed back with defensive linemen pushing us back. So whether it is execution or feet work with the linemen, but it's like we're trying to zone block, but it's not working.
Mm-hmm.
Go, especially on that goal line, man up, man block, drive your guy forward. We only need 1-2 yards. Vince Lombardi, if you can't get 1 yard, we don't deserve to win the game.
Yep.
1 yard.
And don't get me wrong. I'm not disagreeing with what Coach D, Jeff.
Let me answer this one. Bowers was there, but they weren't using him, and the only time they used him, they used him as a fullback. He motioned in on that second down to be a fullback, but his momentum was going lateral, not going forward. And then when they brought him in to be a fullback, they went lateral. So you have him in there.
But broke that down, and I actually asked you a question about if they started him as a fullback instead of that motion into going. So yeah, Bowers was there, and yes, did they use him wrong? Yes, I'll agree.
Yeah,
and yet again, some of it's coaching, some of it's execution. So let's put the blame on everybody who deserves it. And don't get me wrong, I am not a Luke Getsy, I'm supporting, he's the fucking genius and just give him time. I am leaning towards getting rid of him because it's not working. But at the same time, we can't turn around and say the whole offensive problem is on Luke Getsy because there's execution problems on the offense. And Luke Getsy's not, his play calling is not causing these interceptions, these fumbles. And don't get me wrong, we had 2 fumbles, not last game, but the game before, by our running backs, who should be held responsible for those fumbles because they did not hold on to the ball. Yes, they did not hold on to the ball. That's not Luke Getsy's fucking problem. That's not Luke Getsy's fucking play calling. Yeah. So let's hold the people accountable and not put blinders on and say it's 100% Luke Getsy. That's all I'm trying to say.
It's 80% Luke Getsy.
I'll go 70, but the thing is, it's not 100% Luke Getsy. And that's the thing I'm getting at. Let's hold the people accountable, like Coach D said. Let's hold the coaches accountable when it's a coaching problem, and let's hold the players accountable when it's their problem. Because when it comes to this offense, it's a combination. It's not one or the other. It's a combination of everything.
Okay, so let's kind of land this argument with if the offense still looks the same, where it's very inept. Big words here. Okay. If the offense still looks the same where they don't know what they're doing in this game, do you expect, and I'm not saying firing or whatever, but do you expect changes on that offensive side, particularly coaching, whether it's we're going to switch to Philbin or forgetting the receiver head coach, but I know they were using him as someone that could take over the play calling, but or even there was another guy. I gotta write these names down, but there was another guy that can. I think it's God, I can't remember his name. But do you see changes? I'm not gonna say extreme where Getsy gets fired, but where Getsy loses his play calling, like Hackett did with the Jets, loses play calling duties to somebody else because we're halfway through the season and it's just not working out. Do you see changes that way in this game? If the offense doesn't look like they've been improving going into the bye week, do you see changes?
Okay, I want to answer both questions here because I just put it up, with New England Raider boosters here. First of all, to go off of that, you're right. When we're geared for a pocket passer, you can't be doing zone blocking even on fucking pass plays. Now, we have seen the offensive line gel here or there and give our quarterbacks time to pass. We have seen it. It's all about putting the right players going. So it can happen And again, that's all on play calling, and I'll give you that much. I will give you that much. Now, to answer your question here, if we lose this game and it looks like we have every other game where we disappear after the first 15 plays being scripted, do we see a change with offensive play calling? We have to. Okay. Now, I know there was another podcast out there that said, who do we have on the team that could take over? Fucking know your team, know your coaches, because we have Joe Philbin who can take over as an offensive coordinator for the rest of the year and call plays. Yes, Kenzie's not the one turning over the ball. That's what I've been saying. So, but we'll go. So, on Booster's question, the blocking scheme needs, and I've credited Savage this whole week on this. We need to change from the zone blocking, go to power blocking, to go. The power blocking, when we given our fucking quarterback a chance to throw the ball, that was not zone fucking blocking. That was man on man, do your fucking job, keep the pocket clean. We've seen it be able to happen. Get the right personnel in the right spot to be able to do that. But to answer your question, if you pull the play calling duties from Getsy, that's as good as a firing. So yes,
it's halfway there.
Not even half. What's the point of him being there if he's not calling plays?
Going to borrow your playbook until the end of the season.
We know AP ain't going to call plays. He's not a John Gruden. He's not an offensive guy.
No.
So you're going to give the play calling to Joe Philbin or the quarterback's coach or somebody else. So you might as well just fire Getsy. So if it goes the way it's been going, the way I see it is, we have to do something. Whether it's firing a coach, taking play calling duties away, whichever you want to go about it, it has to happen because you're at the middle of the season and something needs to happen. Now, if we win the game, it might win Getsy another week or two to be able to prove that it was fluke.
Okay,
but
and
if
then
we do these next 15 plays, fucking nothing, and in the last 2-3 drives that we have, all of a sudden we're coming alive, then I will say it here. Getsy's got to go. The play calling's got to be taken from him. He's got to be fired, whatever it goes. Give it to Philbin because we have somebody who's experienced in this, and let's see where we can move from there.
See, and this is my closing argument. I get what I'm going back. I get what you're saying with the he looks good in the beginning, and he looks good at the end, calling plays, Getsy. But even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Even a blind.
I don't know what time it is. I don't know what time it is in between the 12 hours where I'm lost. So that's the problem with Getsy for me, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
And trust me, I'm leaning that way with everybody. I'm leaning with the rest of going. But to me, it sounds like Raider Nation is putting all the blame on Getsy and not on the players that are not doing their fucking job. But now we don't have a run game because of the offensive line.
Well, I know, and that's what I was saying earlier too. Is we do, and the fumbles, that's on the players. The ball security, that's on the players. But it's just the question of play calling, and then having because Raider Booster said this also. If you have the wrong personnel trying to run different plays in different situations, you're putting them in spots where they're not going to succeed. So that right there, the runner might run into this or whatever, but that's also a play calling, and that's also
well, okay, and I agree with that 100%. But you put Minshew in, who's a mobile quarterback, who should be running instead of circles forward and gaining yards. We've seen him do it twice now. 2 plays. We're in week 9, And we're going into week 9, and we have 2 plays where instead of running in circles, he ran forward and got positive yards. And we're not talking about 3 yards. We're talking about like 8 yards.
Yeah.
To me, that's on Minshew and not on fucking Getsy.
But then I also could be on the offensive line. That's why it's like we're all saying the right things.
Right?
We're all.
And yet again, that's execution and not on Getsy, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We're all arguing the same. I'm not saying the same thing, but we're all saying the correct things. We all saying the correct things. But I think because there's no, like in science, you got your control, and then you got your test, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Because we don't have another quarterback to throw in there, and I know we got Ritter, but Ritter's still learning the playbook and whatever. But we can only base on Minshew playing the quarterback position, because Aiden O'Connell was coming in. And I'm not talking about in preseason, because they were saying that preseason they weren't calling the plays like they would if it was a real game. They want to put the players in certain situations to evaluate these players in the preseason to see how they handle in certain situations. But because we can only go off of a control and not the experiment, like let's put somebody else out there, it's hard to determine if it is Getsy or the quarterback when it comes to, running backs. Yeah, if you're going to fumble the ball, that's ball security. You should hold on to that ball. Like you said, you better have that ball walk around with a loaf of bread around the facility or something, so you can second nature know that you have to protect whatever's in your arm. But that's where all of us are saying we're all right. But we don't know exactly.
And I hope I haven't tried to make anybody feel that they were wrong. I'm just trying to give that what's the word I'm looking for?
A perspective.
The devil's advocate, the other side of shit.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to Raiders fans, and we've seen this a lot on other podcasts, where it's just so tunnel vision on shit, and this is the way it is. This is the only way it could fucking be, and there's no other fucking answer to shit, when it's a much broader spectrum on this shit, and there's more to, like I said, science experiment, right? There's more variables in the situation than it is just you can't call a fucking play if his life depended on it. And it's not just that. It's not just that. There's more to this, and all I'm trying to do is give that devil's advocate, that other side of, let's actually look at this, by numbers, by stats, by, everything else going on, and let's see what the problem is, because once you can figure out what the problem is, then you can fix it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
If you're tunnel vision and only say this is the problem, you're never going to fix it.
Have you ever seen that optical illusion? It's a picture. It's a picture where it shows like one guy is looking at one thing and the other guy's looking at the other. It's the same picture, but I see this and you see that. But it's like, and I can't remember what the middle of the picture is, but it's like that. We're all seeing what's wrong, but we can't figure out what the main picture is of why whatever it is why it's not working. And that's why we're all arguing what we all see. And this is not just, casual football fans that, well, I know what's not working because we're not scoring. Well, duh. But we all see why an offense doesn't work. Coach C is saying an offense is not going to work if we're going to give the ball to the other team. Interceptions, fumbles, whatever. You're saying, well, it's not going to work if there is an execution problem. I still do believe there could be the play caller, maybe, but I can't just say one particular thing. I'm seeing the offensive line, like in a certain situation, you should be man blocking, but we're trying to dance with our defenders, and the same thing with boosters. He's saying, hey, wrong personnel. It might be the right call, but you got the wrong players in that particular, the wrong playmakers,
And
the wrong,
I would definitely
skill players.
I definitely give that as a possibility in there, 100%. I can't argue with that. Having the wrong personnel in there for the play you're trying to run, I definitely can't argue with that.
So I guess we're all trying to figure out if the question is, if we're all right, whether it's get to the play caller, the quarterback giving up turnovers, the offensive line is not blocking correctly, or we got the wrong skill players, or we're not using them to their strengths in these play calls, then who do we point the finger to? And I can see where Coach D says this. Well, then, hey, who's the next level up? There has to be the one to come down and be like, hey, all this stuff ain't working. So, and this is true too.
And that's the biggest thing. You put that stat back up. We are one of the worst teams when it comes to the turnovers. We give up more than we take away. We've had 4 turnovers in 8 games. So that's every other game we get a turnover. And then yet we have Minshew with 8 interceptions. We have, 3 fumbles from Minshew. 2, a total, 13 differential. So, 17 total turnovers. We've gotten the 4 on our side, but between the interceptions and fumbles between the quarterback and running back position, because I don't recall a wide receiver fumbling a ball yet. So it's between the running back and the quarterback position. We need to win the turnover game, and it starts with not giving up the ball ourselves and getting the ball the other way. We intercepted Patrick Mahomes first.
Yes.
If we would have got not fumbled the ball, that could have been a whole difference in the game right fucking there.
What is that, brother? Homer?
Hey, Homer. I want to get you on and talk about your guy Minshew.
So, and then last question, because it was originally about the trade deadline. If you see the Raiders making any moves, just in general, I mean, especially with these players, but just in general, would you be surprised? Would you be surprised on that?
I would, because when it comes down to it, we're seeing these pieces, whether it's podcasts or beat writers or whatever, talking about they're going with the quick story, that gut thing to get the reaction. But I've also read stories that Devontae Adams trade only happened because he asked for the trade.
Yeah.
And they try to do him right, unlike they did other players. Like Core, like Renfro, shit like that. They try to do him right because they're trying to bring in other, that kind of shit is seen by other players. And when you try to get, free agents and shit, they don't want to be able to you don't want them thinking about that. Then you see stories about the Raiders are done with the trades. Nothing else is happening. And that's how I see it right now. We are, our record shows one thing. We go on a run. Are we going to make the playoffs? The likelihood is small. I mean, there's a lot of things that got to go certain ways, but we are not going to blow up a team that is competitive. And that's where I see. I see us letting players go because of contracts being over, being done and shit like that. And, that's inevitable, but I don't see us I don't see us trading any more players.
All right, so let's go run through it real quick. Our injury report going into this game: Brock Bowers has the rib, but he's in the play. Harrison Bryant with the elbow, he'll be back this game. It looks like the only guys are going to be out is Andre James at center, questionable. Dylan Parham Robert Spillane, but he'll probably play. I know he got that scare in the beginning of the game last week with the knee, but he hasn't played all. I mean, he hasn't practiced all week, but I don't see him. If he can go tape that thing up,
Spillane's playing. I guarantee he's like a Max Crosby. It's got to be a big deal for him not to play.
Yes, and then Zamir White with the quadricep, he's questionable. I can still see him going out there and playing. He's not the main guy right now. It's Madison, so I can see him suiting up and being a couple handoffs here and there. And then on the Cincinnati Bengals side, Orlando Brown the tackle, doubtful with the knee and fibula. Can't excuse his. I mean, Joe Burrow, the quarterback with the right wrist, but I don't see him not playing. T. Higgins might not be playing this week. He's doubtful. Usually that means he's going to be inactive. Questionable Charlie Jones, right receiver, questionable. Doubtful Zach Moss, the other running back. So they might be down another one of their top offensive players going into this game.
So you're telling me we have a chance?
We might have a chance. So, and then of course, since Andre James is out, that means JPJ will be most likely 99.9% sure the center going in. So, hey, maybe this will answer the question. Is it offensive line?
Yet again, I'm going to go with what you said earlier about the power blocking and everything else. With JPJ as the center, you have to be a fucking power blocking offensive line and not a zone blocking offensive line with JPJ center. He is so aggressive that at center, not to mention what I did see when he took over, him calling out the fucking defense for Mike and other shit versus Andre James keeping his head down and not saying shit. So with JPJ, I expect to see a lot more power blocking than zone blocking.
And then, yeah, maybe this, if JPJ out there and he shows out, maybe this will explain a lot of the offensive line woes. So who knows? Maybe there's players in the wrong positions and we go for the youth movement and not the grandfathered in lineman. I'm trying to, for lack of a better term right now. So JPJ for center, I am 100% for that because you see him
there, Jeff. Because I know we kind of went back and forth on shit, but I wish you would have come on. It was great having you in the chat. So
yes, thank you for the support. We appreciate you. He's always on. Well, I know he shows up a lot in Captain's Show. That's where I've seen him many times before. So shouts out to and E-Raider Boosters and Coach D also. Coach D also. He was out here.
Oh yeah, no, Coach D again.
It'd be a great show. Coach D and Miss Peggy. That'd be a great show.
Hey, I'll even go with New England Raiders Boosters with Peggy. I like to see both of them as Miss. You know what? Maybe in 2 weeks we can get the week on with Peggy if they're willing to do it. If they're willing to do it with Miss Peggy, we can sit back and have an easy show.
Hey, I wouldn't mind that. I'll just be in charge of pressing buttons.
All right. Right here. Look at this. Jeff knows Peggy personally.
See?
That might be an interesting show right there.
Yes.
And he said he's down. All right. You know what, Jeff? In 2 weeks, she comes on in 2 weeks. We'll talk to her, and I'll try to find you, and we'll get everything going, and we'll see if we can make this happen. And if you want to be in on it too, we would gladly have you on as well.
There'll be no live stream during the live stream. Yeah. If you know, you know.
On the show, yeah.
Because I know we're pissed off fans, but we're not going to be pissed off. Anyways, we
pissed off and pissed on.
Exactly. Now, at the end of every show, we always showcase the game. Well, I'm talking
the end of every Friday show.
Whatever. The end of every Friday show. Execution, okay? That's what that was right there, okay?
I'm just trying to help, man. Fuck.
I fumbled the segment segue. Thank you for jumping on the ball. At the end of the Friday shows, we always showcase a game that has relevance to the situation the Raiders are in, whether it's a game, the opponent, or really just the opponent. But this answers the idea of tanking, which is no matter if we're having a winning season or a losing season, we don't go into games trying to lose to get the easier route or the easier, make an easier situation for us going forward. It's all about just winning. So here it is, 1976. Raiders towards the end of that 76 season, of course, that was the Super Bowl year, Super Bowl 11. Raiders played the Bengals at home, where the situation was if the Bengals win, the Steelers get knocked out of the back then AFC Central Division. When they were in the Central Division, they get knocked out of playoff contention. The Bengals go in. And we all know, leading up to 76, Raiders always face the Steelers, and they always, somehow, some way, the football gods say no to the Raiders and all
that other bullshit. Yeah.
So here is that game and the philosophy that this organization always keeps. It is know your history. Raiders versus Bengals, 1996. I got it. Here we go.
And all you Raiders out there need to know your fucking history.
6 years before they would leave town for the sunshine and glitter of Los Angeles, the Oakland Raiders gave their city its final division championship. A touch of Hollywood already had infiltrated the Raider camp, but it wasn't glamour owner Al Davis was interested in, just winning. But in Week 13, winning was much more critical to the Cincinnati Bengals, who needed a victory to practically clinch the AFC Central title and eliminate the world champion Pittsburgh Steelers. Raider head coach John Madden wouldn't have his team throw a game just to keep the Steelers out of the playoffs, would he? Oakland seemed to be too proud an organization, right down to a young receivers coach named Tom Flores. The Raiders were led by the NFL's #1 passer in Ken Stabler, but it would take a total team effort to convince the nation that Oakland was committed to winning, no matter what.
Victory is a way of life for the silver and black. Rick Jennings' kickoff return started it off. The rest was pride and poise, preparation and performance.
To the left against Riley, who's 5 yards off the line. Biletnikoff to the right against Parrish. Back is Stabler. Pumps once. Goes down the middle of Casper. Wide open. Touchdown Raiders!
There would be no stopping Oakland now by anyone. These combat-ready Raiders had grown stronger through challenge and adversity. Stabler and Branch flashed from 42 yards out, and the critics went silent. Interceptions by Monty Johnson, George Atkinson, number 43, and Jack Tatum, number 32, destroyed Cincinnati's offense. And then the Raiders calmly shouted Bengal playoff hopes as Stabler and Biletnikoff clinched win number 12, 35-20.
I hope we had that same score again. Fuck that. Oh, that's what I want to see.
Right there. No matter what, it's just about win. Just about win. I know we haven't done that lately, but the mindset is always to go in there.
Okay. Homer, I want whatever the fuck you're smoking there in the fucking Colorado, because if we get Dion as our coach and his son plays like shit, who do you think's going to still be the fucking quarterback? Our quarterback and the father as the head coach is fucking bullshit. I agree there with you, Boost, Jeff, because you know what? No, I don't want Sanders. No, Just fucking flat out no. No. Mark Davis, if you're listening, no. I'm done.
If you're gonna get rid of AP, it has to be. I know it was like, well, Sanders, Deion Sanders, he's head coach for 2 programs and whatever, but if you're gonna get rid of AP, it has to be somebody with a lot of veteran experience. And I know people are pointing to Bill Belichick, but it's slacks on that one too, Kate.
You know what? You know what, Homer? I'm praying to a different God for this shit. It may be your prayer, but you know what? It sure the hell ain't my fucking prayer. I'll leave it at that.
To a different God. Yeah, his name is Jobu.
Yeah. You know what? Hold on. I gotta get it ready. Hold on. It's coming here. Hold on. I'm going to Jobu on this one. Here you go. I hope it don't fucking happen. I hope you're wrong, Homer. I love you, brother. But you know what? You're wrong on this one.
With that right there, let's end this show. Because, hey, this is what's going on. This is a big old debate on what is wrong with this Raiders. So, sound like a game show. So, right there, shouts out to everybody in the chats. We appreciate you. Raider D, Anna, any boosters, even Douglas Sinclair was in the chats. He just showed up late. I'll give him his props. He says some radical things too. I guess it's the Douglases that we know. I'm just joking, Raider Homer. But everybody out there in the chats, my sister, my girlfriend in the chats.
College is different than fucking the NFL. Plain and simple.
Everybody in there, we appreciate you and all the responses. Sorry, I love. And then, hey, you know what? Douglas Sinclair, your Niners are in trouble too. Okay, so let's not pretend just because they beat the Cowboys, who are up and down also. So, anyways,
last time we played the Cowboys, we beat them too.
Thanksgiving. With that said, I want to say thank you to everybody for coming to our show. We had a good turnout for our Friday. Thank you very much. We'll come back on this Wednesday to talk about this game, the Bengals game, and what we'll see if there were anything that happened during the trade deadline the day before, that Tuesday. So with that said, thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. Happy November 1st. Nick Fire Day. And take care, Jobu. Up your butt, Jobu, because you screwed us over in SoFi.
Fuck you, Jobu.
We end every show like we always do with a word from Coach Wallace, a.k.a. Raider Milt. Thank you, everybody. Have a safe weekend. Let's see what happens on Sunday. That's all we can say. All right, then, a solid man, last words?
Hey, all I have to say is any given Sunday.
Any given Sunday, like Al Pacino. Hoo-ah! All right. Take care. Good night. See you later. Out.
All you other NFL teams, your tailgates are weak. Your teams are weak. We might be down right now, but it doesn't take away the history. And all you Raiders out there need to know your fucking history of who the fuck you playing for and where the fuck you're playing. Damn it. Oh, and by the way, I won my last cage fight. Again, I'm still undefeated. And you NFL motherfuckers out there that you think you want some, come on and get some anytime.